We are pony shopping for new mares, but fillies also fine. At what point do you call a mare a filly a mare? I would say 2-year-old and under, definitely a filly. 4-year-old and over, definitely a mare. 3-year-old, sometimes I call them mares, sometimes I call them fillies. But I did get told off on one of my videos for calling a 3-year-old female horse a mare when someone said it's a filly, I think in capitals. So we are shopping for fillies and or mares. Yeah, possibly multiple. It just depends what's out there because we've got quite a specific list. So if something ticks the boxes, I'm going to be really keen, but also nothing might tick the boxes. So let's talk through what it is that we're looking for and why. And then in a week and a bit, the catalogue is coming out for the Connemara pony sales, which is on later this month. So I'll be running through it to see if anything ticks the boxes. Or if you out there, anybody knows of a mare or filly that ticks these boxes, let me know. Okay, so what are we looking for? Mare or filly, female. A stallion one day a stallion that ticks some of these boxes, but mare or filly at the moment, definitely not a gelding. Age doesn't matter too much. Previously I've had a bit of an age limit, but now I'm more focused on these other characteristics and I just don't know how easy it's going to be to find. So younger is fine. Yearling, I mean even weanling, although there won't be weanlings in the August sales, but anything younger is fine because what we would do is just bring them on a bit, and if they look like they are going to be potential broodmares of the future, excellent. If not, they can, be available for new homes and we'll find them a perfect home. So we're open to buying of any age really. There probably is an upper limit. It's difficult with buying older mares because if they don't fit the bill, it's harder. Like if they don't suit us and they don't suit our setup, it's harder to then find them another suitable life, another suitable home and a job to do. If they're younger, they can more easily go on to have a different career doing something. So, once we've got them here, if we then find they don't suit the setup, which is quite specific because we run as a herd, we have hundreds of acres of grazing, they have to kind of fit into that environment in terms of the terrain, the open space, the herd, the lack of handling. I mean, I see them daily, but they're not in and out of stables all the time. So they have to kind of fit into all of that. So if they're older and they don't, finding them a more suitable place is more difficult. But at the same time, there's so much to be said for a proven older broodmare. So yes, not really got limits on age, more all the other characteristics. Let's just see what's available. Let's just see what's out there. Open-minded, apart from with quite a specific list. Hoof wall status, ideally negative. I have done a video fairly recently on hoof wall separation disease, so search that out if you don't know what I'm talking about. Hoof wall separation disease or HWSD, ideally NN, which means negative and not a carrier. A carrier is okay, so a carrier would be N/HW. That means they have one copy of the gene. They're not affected, but they are a carrier. All that means is they would have to be more carefully bred, so you make sure they're not bred to a stallion who is also a carrier, which neither of our boys are. And it also means the foals they produce have to be tested every year, so fine. But the foals can only ever be carriers themselves. They can't be affected. So ideally negative, but a carrier is fine. Not grey. This is probably, is it a deal breaker? Definitely not homozygous grey, possibly heterozygous grey. I'm really looking for non-grey if possible, and this is because we're just trying to reduce the copies of the grey gene in the herd. So we've got 2 grey stallions. I'm going to keep using our grey stallions, and we've got grey mares I'm also going to keep using, but we're just looking to over time reduce the number of copies of the grey gene in the herd because of their link to melanomas. So I don't think it's something you can do or should do very quickly. I've talked about this in other videos, so I'm not looking to rule out any greys at all. I think you would lose so much quality in the breed if you tried to do that, so much genetic diversity in the breed if you tried to do that. So I'm not trying to do that or say that anybody should, but I would ideally like to just have fewer copies of the grey gene in our herd. Heterozygous grey is possible. If she ticks every other box, maybe, but ideally non-grey. And the only way to be sure that she would be heterozygous grey would be if one of her parents was certainly confirmed as not grey. So that is a possibility if she ticked lots of other boxes, ideally non-grey. She would either need to be class 1 or class 2 herself, so inspected herself, obviously ideally class 1, and or her parents to have been inspected. I have done videos on the inspection process, but if a pony hasn't been inspected themselves and classified, and they have parents who also haven't, they currently can't be inspected and their offspring can't be inspected. If she's, say, a weanling, yearling, 2-year-old, 3-year-old who hasn't been inspected, but her parents have been inspected, that's fine. We can put her through the inspection process. And that means her foals can then be inspected and be eligible for class 1 or class 2 status. If she has never been inspected and her parents haven't been inspected, so they are of class 3 status, that just means that she herself currently cannot be inspected. Sometimes there are amnesty years where the societies allow ponies with uninspected parents to be put forward for inspection. but I don't think that's the case currently. So we will be faced with a mare or filly who couldn't be inspected, therefore her young stock couldn't be, and as a breeding programme that's not what we're looking for. So be monitoring the classification status of both the mare, filly and her parents. In foal or not in foal is not really important. If they are age 4 or above and they are in foal, that's fine. Not particularly looking for in foal mares, but not opposed to it. Be happy to have more foals next year, but it's not really something which we're seeking. It's more, again, the other characteristics that we're seeking. So if they are in foal, it's just a bonus, really. Now, of course, conformation, movement and temperament are like the 3 super important things. Temperament, you can't tell from a catalogue or a picture or a video from the online catalogue. So temperament, we just can't guess. Conformation, sometimes there are pictures available. So that'd be great if there are pictures and videos available. You can't tell as much as you can in person, of course, but you can get a bit of an idea. So conformation from the videos and pictures, we can sort of have a go at judging. Obviously, that is really important. Movement, equally, unless there are videos available, you can't really tell, and you won't be able to see a lot going around the ring. So conformation and movement, obviously they're really important. It's just you can only get a limited amount of information from the catalogue, online catalogue and the ring. Of course, not related to our current stallions, Sir Patrick or Harley. Looking for mares or fillies who are within height or will make within height. So by that I mean they won't exceed the Connemara breed standard of 14.2 or 148 centimetres. And then the one which I think is going to be hardest to find, the one that I'm really looking for, is I'm looking for certain back breeding. I would really like to look for the real outcross back breeding. I'm really looking for, if possible, I don't know how easy it's going to be to find, low or zero contribution of blood from Carna Bobby and Abbey Leaks Owen. And it's not that they are bad stallions, because they are absolutely not. And this is why they're present in the back breeding in the blood of so many of ponies today, because they were such high rated popular stallions. But they do appear in high percentages in a lot of Connemara ponies out there, certainly in amongst our ponies. And I'm just really interested in looking for an outcross. So if possible, I'm looking for ponies with low levels of those 2 ponies, those 2 stallions in their back breeding, just so I can work an outcross route with our boys and with our future generations. I don't know how easy that's going to be to find, but find that really interesting. I will at some point do a video on the contributing stallions in the Connemara breeding. It's not something I know loads about, but it's something that other people do, that I will try to absorb all their information and like present it as like a layman to a layman, so that everybody can kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about when I'm looking for these different stallions. Like what are the lines, what are the stallions out there, what are the major contributing boys, and what are the lesser contributing boys, and is it possible to find ponies today from those lesser contributing boys and follow that outcross route. So that's my little tick list of ponies that we're looking for. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find mares or fillies that meet all those criteria, because they're quite specific and quite a unique combination. So for example, to find a mare or filly with that kind of rarer back breeding who is also not grey and within budget, I don't know. Let's see what's out there, and I'll start to get an idea of how achievable it actually is.